Hey guys, welcome back. So this is going to be episode number 3 of Ask Candi. And if you guys aren't familiar with this series, it's where people either DM me through Instagram at ourfamilynest, or they email me at mail@ourfamilynest.com, and they ask me questions and ask for my advice and opinion on anything from like relationships to career to raising kids and pretty much anything. So this episode, I am going to try to do more questions with shorter answers. I'd asked you guys previously which you would prefer, and we're gonna give this a shot this time around. So first question is long distance relationships. Do you think they are worth the effort? I personally think it just depends on the two people involved. I think some people are built that it works really well for them. Maybe they have a career that takes up a huge amount of their time, or maybe they're in college and trying to balance that with a job. And long distance could work out great. But then you have other people who are just more needy, and maybe and I don't mean needy to sound in a bad way, but like you just require more attention, you require more time, that sort of thing, that I don't feel like long distance would be the best option. So I think it really just depends on both people, not just one or the other, but both people and how they're built. And if the foundation of the relationship is strong, and you're both the type of people that you don't need to be with your significant other every single day, it could work. So then it would be worth it, yes. How do you guys get so productive in the day, and what is your motivation? I definitely have a lot of days where I'm feeling unmotivated. You guys just probably don't see that part of our lives. It's not like I'm gonna start a vlog like, oh my God, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I haven't showered yet and I haven't done anything but watch Big Brother and cuddle with my puppies, and you know what I mean? Like, it's like how we say about social media, it's everybody's highlight reel, and that goes for YouTube videos, Instagram, all of that. Like, you're seeing the best of someone, not their worst. So, but tips for being motivated: lists. Just write stuff down, check them off as you finish them, and whatever you don't get done today, there's always tomorrow, as long as it gets done eventually. What do you call the perfect date for a teenager? Well, times are a little strange right now. My favorite thing to do is go to dinner and a movie. I just love the movies, and I think it's great too if it's early on and you're dating early on in the relationship, because you then have a time frame that like you're together, but we don't have to like talk the whole time, so you can just see how you like are together, even like when you have to be quiet and watch a movie. Next question. My boyfriend and I live together, but he is in school, and right now I put all the work, meaning money. Oh, I put in all the work, meaning money. I know it's only temporary, but sometimes it gets so hard and I get so annoyed and stressed. Any advice? I think I would sit down with your boyfriend and go over what's your long-term goal. So like, let's say he's gonna be done with college in like 3 years. So what's gonna happen in 3 years? When is it your turn to like maybe go to school or follow your passion? What if when he's done with college, you wanna start your own business or open a little Etsy store and sell your crafts? Like, is he gonna support you just the same? Or is his expectations, no, you need to keep working full time and do this and do that? Like, I feel like I would have been really supportive of a guy that I was dating early on in life if I knew later on we were on the same page, where my dream was always to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to have a huge career in the earlier stages of my marriage and the years of where my kids were little. I wanted to be able to like stay home with them as much as possible. So I would just work on like have conversations about like your future, and make sure that like once he's done with this college part where you're paying for everything, are you guys going to be on the same page down the road? I was wondering how grants for college work and advice for students facing peer pressure. Okay, unfortunately I don't know a whole lot about grants for college. I would just Google for the area where you live and try to just collect a bunch of information. Advice for students facing peer pressure. I just always say, do what feels right for you. Like at the end of the day, you only have to answer to you, not your friends. Like don't do things to make other people happy. Do what makes you happy. But if you're talking stuff that's like illegal, like drugs, alcohol, stuff like that, like don't ever allow someone to make those decisions for you. Like everybody, everywhere, all around the world has to face peer pressure of when to drink and when to try drugs if that's what their friends are doing. And you can go through your whole entire life with never doing any of that stuff. Like don't let people, even when you're 16 years old, don't let people convince you even when you're 26 years old. You do you and stick to your guns. And if you feel like you're about to do something that you're gonna regret, then don't do it. How to love myself after a breakup. Currently going through one after a 6-year relationship. I'm so sorry. That's a really, really long time to date someone. I think just start thinking about like what makes you happy and make a list. Like, what do you enjoy doing? Reading a book, going for a walk, watching movies. Just like now is the time in your life it gets to be all about you instead of the other person. And just really focus on that list and find new people to hang out with, or maybe rekindle some old friendships that maybe got pushed to the wayside when you were, dating this ex person. And just now's your time to make life all about you again. And you'll probably meet someone else someday and it will be all about them again. So take advantage of this small window of time in your life that it gets to be about you. All right, how to better communicate your feelings in a relationship or marriage. I don't know why I always recommend this to people, but write it down. Write a letter. Like rather than causing arguments, like if you feel a certain way about something, whatever that may be, and you just have really strong feelings and you want to get them all out. And sometimes it's really hard to be able to sit down with someone and say all those things. So write them down in a letter form. Dear John, it really bothers me when blah, 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 blah. And this is how I feel about it. And this is what I wish would happen. And this is how I think we could fix it. And so on and so on and so on. And then at the end, maybe you'll give the letter to the other person and maybe you won't. Maybe you'll realize like, oh gosh, I'm being ridiculous. This is kind of silly. So even at the end, no matter what, hopefully you'll feel better. But yeah, and if not, then you have a great letter that you can give to that person to say, here, I'd really like you to read this. And then maybe let's take a day or two and let's talk about it. How do we get through life if we can't even find happiness or peace? Why aren't you finding happiness or peace? Like what's missing? And work on those things. Like if you're not happy because you don't have good friendships, work on friendships. If you're not happy because you don't have a good job and you're struggling financially, work on that. Maybe you need to go back to school. A lot of times if you're in a situation where you're not making a lot of money, you can get government assistance to help you pay for college. Take advantage of that. Go back to school. Better yourself. Like really just think about what are the things that are making me not happy and take the baby steps towards fixing those things. Lately, I really have been, for lack of better words, butting heads with my mom. It seems like every little thing causes us to get upset with each other. We always get over it pretty quick, but how can we prevent this? Tips, please. Okay, well, first of all, you're taking 2 females with hormones, with mood swings, with the additional stress that we have in our lives. Your mom probably with, raising her kids and her job, taking care of the house, you with school, friends, boys, whatever it is that stresses you out. And you're putting these 2 females together and there's bound to be arguments, lashing out, things that are said that we don't mean. And I think most importantly at the end of the day, is just always know that it's not personal. Don't take it personal. Your mom loves you unconditionally. Kids can pretty much do anything to their parents, and their parents are gonna always be there for them, love them more than anything in this world. And you just can't take those moments where you guys aren't like, you know, getting along perfectly to heart, because I'm sure she doesn't mean it. Just like if you've ever said anything mean to her, you don't mean it either. So I think you being aware of it, you're already on the right track, but just don't take it personal. Here's a very similar question. How can I gain a better relationship with my mom? I feel scared to tell her anything. If it helps, I'm a 15-year-old girl. I think just maybe coming up with suggestions of things that you guys can do together. Maybe go get your nails done or something like that, or go for a walk. There's a lot of people who, I don't know what the weather's like where you live, but enjoy after dinner every night going out for a walk. And I feel like if you said, hey mom, you know what, we should every Tuesday and Thursday after dinner go for a walk together, so you guys have like time to talk, chat about stuff, catch up with what's been going on in your life and that sort of thing. And I think maybe, I know adults can be so busy and we can be distracted by so many things going on in our lives, but I feel like if you reach out to your mom and kind of like drop some hints out there that you're looking to spend some time together, that she would be receptive, open to it, and love it, I'm sure. So just give it a try. How do you let go of someone that you know isn't good for you? You just do it. You stop stalking their social media, stop trying to figure out where they're at all the time, and you let go and you replace that time that you're wasting on not letting that person go with someone else. And I don't mean someone else that you want to date, but just your friends, or do something for yourself. Go for a walk, exercise, read a book, watch a movie, hang out with friends. Do anything but obsess about this person who you know is not good for you. You just said the words. They are not good for you. So listen to your own advice and just get away. Okay, do you think it's a good idea to get a job at 14 years old and also be a freshman in high school? Personally, unless there's a reason that you really, really, really need to get a job, I would say no. You have your whole life to work and make money and have the responsibility of that. I wouldn't get a job sooner than you really have to. I know in some situations, maybe sometimes kids do have to help out with their family bills and stuff like that, but I would focus on school, your friends, hobbies, sports, passions, art, reading, books, whatever you love to do with your spare time, and you'll have plenty of years of your life to work, work, work. What was it like buying your first home as a couple? How to prepare for it, things to expect, what were finances like? All right, wow, that's a lot. Definitely having a realtor that's able to answer a lot of your questions when it comes to buying a home, in terms of connecting you with a good mortgage broker, someone who can explain to you that if you don't have 20% down, you have to pay PMI and about how much that's going to be. Someone who's going to help you understand how taxes work. Sometimes taxes can be added into your house payment. Sometimes you can pay them twice a year, depending on where you live. Then you have homeowners insurance. Another thing, sometimes that can be added into your monthly mortgage payment. Sometimes it can be paid yearly. I'm trying to think of all the different things that are involved. And then you have to think about, when it comes to making your budget, things aren't always going to be as simple as they seem, because you might think, okay, well, my mortgage is going to be $800 a month, and then we have utilities, which usually runs around $300 a month. Well, what if one particular year it's a really, really hot summer and you spend tons of money on your electric bill, or a really cold winter and you spend more money on your gas bill? Like, you need to always make room for fluctuations. Like, if you make $2,000 a month, don't make it where your budget is spending $1,895 a month, because you're gonna go broke, you're gonna go in debt, and then you're not headed down a good path. So make sure you're giving yourself enough wiggle room where you're not overextending yourself starting out in the beginning. So All right, I'm a senior. I'm very stressed out at the moment for college, career, etc. I find it hard to focus on one-side careers. I love music, love science, animals, space. How do I pick what to major in or even finalize a career path? Well, luckily when you first go to college, they have you take a bunch of classes that you can kind of be undecided. You're going to take basic like English, humanities, social sciences, stuff like that. I feel like you should start there first before you're like, oh, I definitely want to be a veterinarian, or I definitely want to, you know, become a astronaut or whatever. Like, I feel like do a little bit of everything until you figure it out. Just make sure you're taking classes that are gonna, like, whether you pick, you know, music or science or whatever, make sure you're taking stuff that's gonna be useful. You don't want to pay for classes that are pointless, but I would not put so much pressure on yourself to decide right away, because if you ask a lot of people who have gone to college, most people end up changing their minds anyways. So even if you came to this realization that I definitely want to major in something science related, next thing you know, you're taking your third chemistry class and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And next thing you know, you're becoming an engineer instead. So I would just take it semester by semester and not put too much pressure on yourself to have it all figured out right now, because you're probably gonna change your mind anyways. All right, I have been talking with a guy for a few months now, and we basically act like boyfriend and girlfriend, but we haven't had the what are we talk, and I just don't know how to bring it up, or even if I should be the one to bring it up. I don't know. I'm probably a bad one to ask this question, because I feel like I'm so much more gutsy now than I was when I was younger, so I could tell you what I would say, but back then I probably wouldn't have said it either. So I'll just say it. I would just be like, so do you consider me your girlfriend or what? Like, I don't know. I'm so much in this place in my life of like, what do you have to lose? And if you don't have anything to lose, then what are you waiting for? Like, just say it, just do it, just, you know what I mean? If you're not gonna harm anybody or hurt anything and anything that's in your mind that you want to do, then what are you waiting for? Like, that's what I always just ask myself. So I think in this circumstance, that's the way you need to think of it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You could say, well, do you consider me your girlfriend? And if he says no, well then great. Then you probably don't want to spend time with him anymore, and go find somebody who wants to consider you their girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? All right, any advice for helping teenage girls make friends? My daughter moves schools and needs friends, but none of the girls really talk to her. She plays sports, so I thought she would make friends that way, but still no friends to hang out with. I feel like nowadays with social media, I'm gonna assume that maybe your daughter has like Snapchat or Instagram or something like that. And if she doesn't, well, I'll cover that in a second. But with social media, it's so much easier to like reach out to people through your phone, unfortunately, these days, than any other way that we used to do back before we lived on these things. Just because, I don't know, kids these days, they have so much more confidence hiding behind their phone screen, getting to know someone, rather than after like a soccer game saying, hey, you want to go with my parents to like get some ice cream? Like, it's almost like that's awkward. But if she has her phone and can be friends with these people on social media first, then it's almost like you could DM or text or tweet or whatever she does, be like, hey, Alyssa, after the soccer game Sunday, do you want to go for ice cream afterwards? And I don't know why that's so much less awkward for kids nowadays, but it's just the reality. If she doesn't have social media and she's even younger than I'm thinking, well, you said she's teenage, maybe make the first move. Like, maybe just put your neck out there, and if there is someone that you think would be a good match for her, be like, hey, you know, we should go out to dinner after the game on Friday, and why don't you ask Amy to go with us? And like, you kind of initiate the connection between the friends, like almost kind of butt your nose in where our kids hate when we do that, but just do it anyways. Just give it a try. I think that's what I would do. I would be like, hey, Carly, why don't you go ask them if after the dance competition they want to get a bite to eat with us, and like help the friendships form that way. This one boy keeps trying to come into my life, and I told him I wouldn't have time for him. I explained that with me being captain of my drill team, veteran in the hip hop team, and being in the nursing program at school, that I wouldn't have time for anything. He's like trying to force himself into my life. What should I do? I keep ignoring him, but he blows up my phone every time, even when I block him. It's kind of cute, right? Okay, I know it's like borderline stalker-ish, like he's going overboard, but at the same time, it's like, wow, he really likes you, you know? And I know you're saying you don't have time, but don't you deserve to have like a social life too on top of all those things? I guess if you really truthfully don't want him in your life because he clearly really likes you and you want to put your foot down, then you just need to completely ignore him because he's not getting the hint, blocking him, all that stuff. Eventually this guy's got to give up. So I would just keep ignoring him until he does. But maybe, I don't know, are you sure you don't? Just reading this, I'm just like, oh, he really likes you. Is there other reasons why you don't like him? Is it just that you don't have time? Or are you like not attracted to him and that sort of thing? Because I think it's sweet. I get that you're saying you don't have time, but even just a little bit of time? Maybe you don't have time to date, but do you have time to text? I don't know. I think I need more to the story. You need to DM me again because I need more to the story. Like, do you really not like him, or do you just not have time for him? All right, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of those questions. Hopefully you learned a little something. Thank you so much for everyone who has sent in various emails and DMs. And I kind of always just say, if I haven't answered your question yet and you are truly following along with these videos, because I feel sometimes people ask me questions but they don't even really watch. So if you're to this point in the video and you're still listening and you're still watching and I haven't answered your question yet, feel free to send it to me again. Go into your Instagram, copy, paste it, send it again, or even email me again, because it's easier for me to just start with fresh questions every week rather than trying to weed through all the old ones. So, all right, guys, thank you. Hope you're having a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.